This looks very interesting.
This is how you can bacon. Or bathymetry, what's it called? No, bathymetry. So that if we need the beach wheels, the brackets will be on the back, we can just clip them in, but they'll be stored under the floorboards.
Nicely done.
Yeah, we did it. Right, the gearbox is about to receive a coat of paint from the other side. So I've painted it from the bottom, or that side. Now I've got to paint it from that side. And then she should be ready to go back in tomorrow, is the plan.
It looks like new.
Wow, it looks deceiving, my dear. Okay, it's still a bit wet.
You're being a bit quick.
I just want to get this done so I can get it back on the boat tomorrow. Plan, new bolts, new washers.
So what are you doing? You're putting the gearbox, attaching it to what? The mount or the...
This is like a bell housing.
A bell housing.
Yeah,
okay.
it's an adapter plate bell housing. Call it whatever you want to call it. It adapts the engine configuration of bolts to the gearbox configuration of bolts.
Okay.
So that's what it does. Its purpose in life.
So you've got new washers there.
You bought them,
I know.
so you picked them up at the bolt shop for me.
I did.
Yeah.
I've been doing lots of picking up things.
Yeah, because I've been away at work during the week, so Wendy does all the pickups for me and gets all the bits and pieces ready for the weekend. Yeah.
Is that the last stage before it goes on?
Before the gearbox goes on?
Yeah, back in the boat.
Yeah, then I've got to do a shaft alignment.
How do you do that?
To be totally honest and 100% truthful, I have no idea.
But you'll Google it.
I'll YouTube it and work out how to do I know roughly I know the theory, but I don't know exactly what to do with the feeler gauge. So we'll work it out. So we'll learn, I'm going to YouTube it tonight and learn how to do a shaft alignment. And we'll see how it turns out. Can't be any worse than it was, because all the engine mounts were so loose, the whole thing was...
And everything was wobbling, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it can only get better with these new mounts and new blocks and new everything. So there we go. Hello. Righto. Beautiful. Well, we're fitting a transducer to peanut number 4 because I reckon, we'll be using this dinghy a lot up in the Kimberley. And it's handy to know how deep stuff is, because some of the rivers and bays we'll be going into aren't charted at all. There's totally uncharted. So we can go forward with the dinghy first, with their new echo sounder, check depths, check for obstacles, etc, etc, and then poke in with the big boat once we know how deep it is, and same up rivers and things. So that's the plan. So we've got this new Raymarine echo sounder that I got off Gumtree. It's an ex-demo, it's an old model, not current anymore, but it's perfect for the tinny. That's going to sit about there. And the good thing about this particular model, the reason I wanted this model, even though it's out of production, is because it has, number one, or 2 reasons. Number one, it's a chirp sonar sounder, so it gives you really, really, really good definition of the seafloor and good penetration through different thermoclines and if it's turbid water. They work really, really well. It's good down to about 600 feet. We don't need it that deep, and you need it down to sort of 30 feet. The second reason, and the main biggest reason, is it has Wi-Fi. So what I can do is I can hook my phone or iPad, which we use on the boat a lot, into this and receive all its sounder data, depth data, or bathymetry. What's it called, Wen?
Barometric?
No, bathymetry. It's written right there. Bathymetry. I don't know if I'm putting the emphasis on the right syllable, but anyway, this gives those readings onto the iPad. Then I can upload that onto my sounder on the boat, is the theory. So then we've got all the bathymetry. Anyway, all the soundings from the dinghy uploaded into Nutshell, so that when we go where the dinghy was, we can see the exact depths. That's the theory. So I'm going to mount all this up today, take it for a spin, and test it out. I also want to test out, bought some spare props, because you can't go up north without spare props. So I've got a 9 1/4 by 12 prop. I've got a 9 1/4 by 9, which I've fitted on. And I've got the original 9 1/4 by 8. I've mounted the bracket on. The things you got to keep in mind when you're mounting a transducer, it's got to be vertical. But the most important thing is that the base of the transducer has to have an uninterrupted flow of water going over the transducer. So you position it between chines. You make sure there's no inlets, outlets ahead of it, and that it's smooth. The smooth flow all the way along, right? So the water can just come, and you've got a nice what's called laminar flow of water over the transducer in. So when the transducer's in, which goes a bit of bad filming there, transducer sitting there. So this angle and the depth have to be so that the water flow comes just over the base of the transducer. So the transducer is just sitting in a beautiful laminar flow of water. When you're resting, of course, not going along, it's underwater, because the water line is about up here when you're just sitting normal. But when you're scooting along and planing, you'll have the hull buried, the transom buried in the water. So you want a nice laminar flow. So we're going to adjust that now, get it all set up for the right position. Then we'll put a through penetration, and the cable can go through, and then run the cable up to the display unit. There we go, transducer is fitted. You'll notice here I've whacked through a dirty great big cable gland. That's because modern transducer cables are all in one, so the plug, power plug and everything's on the transducer. And I don't like transducer leads draping up over the transom and then running off to the control head. So what I've done is using a 32mm cable gland with reduction bushes to get the transducer cable through the transom. And then I've also, apart from having a perfect seal here, I've also filled the other side of it with Sikaflex, so it's never going to leak. It's strong, and you don't have cables hanging everywhere, because I hate that when you're fishing, and I just hate cables hanging everywhere. So that's the finished product at the back end. Now I'll start with the top end.
You look like you're in your happy place, babe.
Yeah, you caught me.
I did.
I'm just getting the position correct for the sounder. That's where it's going.
There's the sounder. There's the new, what do you call this? Bait board? Fishing
board? Yeah, I'm just going to put the drain hose in. It's going to run over the side. And it's got a little area, little sink in here for washing your hands and washing your bits and pieces and keeping your filleting knives in.
It's a bit flash.
And a couple of rod holders. So yeah, it's pretty flash bait board and sturdy and strong. We're getting boat collars to go around to give it, because this is going to be our primary life raft as well. And we want 100% flotation, level, 100% level flotation. So even if it's got a hole in it, you can put it in the water and stand here and it will float. One of our viewers put me onto it. I can't remember his name, but no, he put me onto it, and we're definitely going to go ahead with it. I've contacted them. They can't do anything special for us, price-wise, of course. I didn't expect that, but they're really nice to deal with, and you'll see a lot more information about that coming up as we get Nutshell 4 all ready for going north. So what I want to do as well is put some quick clips on these floors, because I want to be able to store.
What's a quick clip?
Instead of having these floors screwed down, I want to put some clips in so they just clip down.
Easy access.
So yeah, with handles, so we can lift them up. I want to store the beach wheels under here.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So that if we need the beach wheels, the brackets will be on the back, we can just clip them in, but they'll be stored under the floorboards. Yeah, I'm setting this up for a remote area. So we've got the top on for sun, because there's going to be a lot of sun up the Kimberley. And I want to have this all decked out. I'm going to make up a couple of survival packs that we take with us. Be able to throw the swag up the front there. Yeah, this will be, we'll be able to carry a spare motor as well. I'm going to put the bracket on to carry Peanut 1's motor.
Oh, you're going to keep Peanut 1?
Yeah, Peanut 1, keep the motor. It weighs nothing.
Well, that's what I thought.
And if anything was to happen to this 4-stroke, we'll carry some 2-stroke oil, mix it up, and we'll be able to use the little motor to get us back home out of trouble. I want to put make a bracket to store this under there as well, so it doesn't roll around.
Okay.
Yeah. I am drying kaffir lime leaves so that we can vacuum pack them and take them with us when we live part here, because we love cooking Thai food, and you've got to have kaffir lime leaves in your Thai food.
This is our lovely new big, how many litres? 22?
21 quarts.
21 quarts.
3 quarts. Not new, but I think
Pressure canner, yeah, second handy, but came with a few lids, and we've also got lots of jars, which we got. I can't remember where we got them because we've been trying to get them for so long. There's a holder to get them out and all that jazz. So Magnus is cooking bacon in the barbecue, and he's going to can it, I think. Is that right? Mm-hmm. He's sterilising the jars?
Yep.
How long do you sterilise them for?
10 minutes. 10 minutes of boiling.
What's happening here?
I'm just going to half cook the mince in the fry pan before canning it. So I'm going to do 1 can or 2 cans of half cooked mince and 2 cans of raw mince canned.
To see what happens?
Yeah.
Because we're doing tests.
This is 95% mince and 5% fat, because fatty mince tastes a little bit nicer than lean mince. I know you shouldn't, but who cares?
And do you dry can it, or do you put liquid with it, the raw one?
I'm going to dry canning.
Wow, okay. Well, this is so exciting.
And I'm going to do the same with the steak as well. I'm going to do 1 raw steak and 1 cooked steak.
And do you have to fill the whole jar with stuff?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. Okay. Watch this thing. That's going to be half cooked, yeah?
The steak?
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be like rare.
And why do you half cook it? Just to give it a bit of browning?
Oh yeah, just to give some colour. It caramelizes.
So it tastes better.
So the sugar's caramelized. Whereas if you're just canning raw, it actually gets cooked in the canning process. So therefore, when you go to reheat it or fry it, it's not caramelized.
Okay. So this looks like a breakfast. Bacon, sausages, and I think, are you going to try and can them in the same jar?
Canning 1 breakfast
So
in
it's
every jar.
like a Sunday breakfast.
Yeah. That's 2 Sunday breakfasts.
Yeah, this is a test. So they're pre-cooked, which is another way of using less gas when we're at the Kimberley, because we won't have much gas. We'll be very limited. So if we can do things to use the gas now, we'll save the gas later. This looks very interesting.
This is how you can bacon. So it doesn't all stick together and just end up one whole big lump of bacon at the end. Two Sunday breakfasts ready for canning. Here they are, ready to do the canning process. That's one cooked breakfast. It's another cooked Sunday breakfast. That's a raw Sunday breakfast. Mince cooked, mince uncooked, steak, medium cooked, and raw steak. So we're going to can them.
They're all in the water now. There they are. So they've been in there, what, 70 minutes?
Yeah, 70 minutes. At pressure for 70 minutes. So they've been in here longer. They've been in here about 2 hours.
What's in that one? It looks like
Mince.
Wow. And you didn't put any liquid in?
No.
That's incredible. What are we doing, darling? What is happening today?
Put the gearbox in.
It's a big day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very exciting. There it is. This is all the stuff that's going down there to install the gearbox. Gearbox is in the dinghy number 4, peanut 4, all shiny. So yeah, this is it. She's going back in. Oh, got a bit of a contraption here.
Can you let some line off on the painter, please, sweetie?
Yeah, sure. How much do you want?
There.
Wicked. Are we going again?
Yeah.
She's on board. You happy?
Yeah. Just got to get the gearbox down now. Right. So what we got to do now is if you release this
Yes.
gently, I'll pull the gearbox over and we'll sit it on there.
All right. Is that all right?
Keep going.
More? More?
Right.
Okay. Just trying to get the gearbox down into the galley safely, because we've only got Magnus and me, not Magnus and another strong man. And I'm a bit of a wuss.
There you are. Can you do me a favour?
Yeah.
Can you go up to the gantry
Yep.
and I'll post you this rope.
Sure. So we've got a line going from the mizzen boom down to the winch and onto the gearbox, and then we'll drop it into the galley. What's that not called?
Bowline.
All right.
There you go.
All right, that's my job. Okay, I better get onto it. There we go. Down she goes. Nicely done.
Yeah, we did it.
Do you want rags at the bottom? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one too, please.
And that one?
And then you can come in out of the sun.
Yeah, I'll sort this sheet out first. Well, that went really smoothly.
Yeah.
Job done. The beginning of the...
reset of the gearbox.
I love the colours.
This is my fairly precarious sort of setup to get the gearbox in. I've had to put the gearbox in crooked, sideways to get it in, and now I've got it located pretty well where it's got to go, but I've got to twist it 90 degrees. So that's the next challenge. So after about an hour and a half of wiggling and manoeuvring, I have my first bolt in. So the gearbox is bolted back onto the engine. There it is, a bolt. So all starting to look good now. Well, she's in. And the only thing I've got to change is this fitting here. I'll order the proper fitting. I've just made a temporary one for the time being. But she's in, she's all hooked up, there's hoses everywhere, and I'm just about to go and turn the key and see if it starts and see what happens if that thing turns. So yeah, let's see what happens. The moment of truth. Will she start? Enough glow. Yes! She's purring like a kitten. Oh no! Really, really slowly, which she's doing. So we've got water coming out the exhaust. Good sign. The moment of truth. Well, it made all the right noises, and guess what? We're moving forward. There's our mooring, and we're going into the wind, and we're going forwards. Oh, wow, first time this boat's gone forwards under engine for months, so pretty happy. Going to go downstairs and check for leaks.